Guys, we'll be starting in 1 minute, okay? Just waiting for some more people. We'll get started. Rahul, Pratap, you there?
Yes, we are here.
Guys, we'll be starting in 1 minute, okay? Just waiting for some more people. All right, seems we are a full house. We have almost 100 people. So those who cannot join, please, we are also live on YouTube. So those who cannot join can also join our YouTube channel. Okay. All right. So before we start, quickly, Raul, can you go to the next slide? So let me quickly introduce, the team, the panelists. So myself, I'm Chitiz Agarwal. Let me turn on the camera so everyone can see me. So my name is Chitiz Agarwal. I'm the founder and CEO of Tequila Global Services. We are a Salesforce consulting shop, operating from last 8 years, and we are a Salesforce partner. And the reason we are having all these sessions is, like right now, I would say there is more demand on Salesforce. Actually, the Salesforce demand has increased to the roof, and we still find the scarcity of good developers, on the Salesforce. So even if someone has worked on Salesforce for 5 years, even probably eight years, sometimes they have not got chance to work on the development side of it. So this session is actually built for anyone who is already I would say familiar with what Salesforce is and how the admin works. Else it will be very hard for people to understand, grasp. Okay, if anyone is a very beginner or very fresher and who doesn't even know what Salesforce is, so for that we have another series of sessions going on, which is admin workshop, which also happens 1 hour before this, and you can attend those, and you can find the link of those sessions on the uh, our our website under Tequila Academy. Okay, and I'm just going to put the link of that in a moment. Okay, on the chat. Okay, we have our panelists. We have Rahul and Pratap from my team, who are again, just to let everyone know, these sessions are completely free of cost, right? So I really want to thank Rahul and Pratap to take these sessions, because this is a completely pro bono activity, and we are just doing this just to make sure that people can learn Salesforce, can learn LWC, right, and can become a good developer, right? So thanks to Rahul and Pratap. Rahul and Pratap, you can give you a small background on yourself, and we can get started.
Okay. Hello all. This is Rahul.
Rahul, if possible, can you turn on the camera so everyone see you, or if it's possible?
Yeah, sure. Let me try. Okay. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Pratap, can you also turn on the camera if possible?
Yeah, this light is not good at my home, so
Okay,
still,
that's fine. I understand.
yeah, right.
Okay. So my name is Rahul, and I have around 5 years of experience in Salesforce development. And from last 1.5 year, like more than 1.5 year, I've been working on Lightning Web Components, and I have also worked on Lightning Aura component, Visual Force page, and like every development aspect of Salesforce. Um, and I'm also active contributor of Salesforce Stack Exchange, and I also do some blogging and stuff. And I work as a lead Salesforce developer at Tequila, and I'm here for 2 years. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Pratap, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So hello everyone. My name is Pratap, and I'm a lead Salesforce developer at Tequila. And from last 1.5 years, I'm also working on the Lightning Web components. And before that, I have worked on the Lightning Aura components and all the like Apex trigger that background. And overall, I have 5 years of experience in the Salesforce development. So
Great. So before we begin, again, just to explain everyone, so Tequila Academy we have launched like on 5th of September, which was our foundation day 8 years back. And this LWC session is like a series of 10 sessions, which we are going to cover in next 10 sessions. And the whole first of all, I know some people have asked whether it's what are the hidden charges, what are the cost and all. This is completely free. We are not going to charge anything. We are not a training shop. Okay. This is like a pro bono activity which we want to do, just to make sure. I think our only secret thing is to get some good people from the market. If you are learning well and all, we also have a lot of openings in our company. We have actually 80 plus openings, 30 plus lateral people, experienced people, and 50 plus freshers. So if you're learning well and all, we can offer you a job. And plus, like us, there are many other companies who are looking for good people. So what I would recommend is that please attend all those 10 sessions. And again, code. This is all coding, right? So this session is built for anyone who at least have some coding background, who have coding experience. Because if you don't know coding, if you don't know the concept of while loop, for loop, what is basic things, then it will be very, very hard for you. So this training is more for people who have some basic about coding. It's not should not be only on Salesforce. It can be on any other technology like Java or PHP or any other technology, right? Even on the college time, and then you can easily pick up, right? For anyone who is a zero background from coding, it will be very hard for you. So just to set the expectations there. And yeah, and as I mentioned, at the end of this 10 sessions, we will be also, as I said, hiring some people out of it. We'll be giving some free certification vouchers for the top performers, and there will be a mini project in the end. And those who complete the sessions, those who complete the mini project, will be also giving up a certification of completion, right? And even the experience letter for this. Okay, so I think it can be also helpful for your job. All right, yeah, I'll take it from here.
Okay, so let's go to slide. Okay, so just a little overview of this. So like we are going to see like have a sneak peek on like what is web component, what is underground technology like under web components, its interoperability with Aura components, how Lightning web components are getting advantages of a modern JavaScript, and developer tools for Lightning Web Components, and then like we'll have a little demo, and then we will discuss about the supported experiences for Lightning Web Components, and then we'll discuss about the standard base component library. Okay. So as Chitiz already told you that like this is a series of session intended for developers who want to build Lightning Web Components. Like we are going to cover most common scenarios, and like we are whatever we are going to like we are going to present here in the session, we are going to apply that in the coding. So in this first session, we won't have any coding, but from next session, we will have a little bit of live coding. And also like we are going to create one small end-to-end project using Lightning Web Components. And yeah, so introduction to web components. So Lightning Web Component is a new framework like Lightning development model for UI development using UI development in Salesforce, which is based on modern like the web standard called web components. It is so the web components are like core features of browser where we can create custom elements in HTML. And then like as part of performance, like it is lightweight and high. Whatever the rendering whatever the rendering is there, it is automatically done by Lightning Web Components, and you don't need to do any modification to UI using like basic JavaScript function. And also whatever the code you will write, except from the base components which are provided pre-built by Salesforce, whatever the code you will write will be plain JavaScript and HTML. And also Lightning Web Component Framework supports ES6+. Like ES6 is like a ECMAScript, which is a standardization organization for Lightning for JavaScript and web development, and who are actually adding more and more features to JavaScript, and they are more standardizing the functions and APIs in JavaScript, because as you might know that there are some features of JavaScript which are not supported in all browsers. So to overcome this situation, this ECMAScript organization, so ECMA organization is working on standardizing the JavaScript, and Lightning Web Component supports ES6 up to ES6.9, and whatever the code we were writing in Aura component, if you are familiar of Aura component or Visual Force page, was ECMAScript 5. But whatever modern JavaScript features are there will be available to Lightning Web Components. And then why Lightning Web Components? Okay, so like as you might know that Salesforce already have two different models for UI development. One is the Visual Force, and second one is Aura components. There were some limitations and with those technologies. So first advantages over those technologies of like is reusability. We can import JavaScript files of another component. We can export the JavaScript files to other component. We can use the templates. We can reuse the templates. We can use same HTML markup into multiple web components. And then also we can extend the functionality of component without changing the original component. Then, as we already talked about, like it is based on modern and standardized web development technology and W3 specs. And another advantage is we can easily break like bigger component into smaller chunks of component. So it becomes easy to manage all the components, and also we can have like modular component development. And then another advantage is Shadow DOM. So Shadow DOM is like encapsulation between components, so that unintended, like unwantedly, if you write any CSS, won't override any other CSS on the HTML page. And then another advantage of Lightning Web Component is, like as it is based on modern web standard, like there will be more developers available because you will not need to learn like basics of this component model if you are already familiar with JavaScript and HTML technologies, like which is not really which is the disadvantage of Aura component. And also, as we are, so like Salesforce has opened its doors to all possible options, and all possible developer support because there are a lot of libraries available in JavaScript, and also there is very good community support for all the developers. And another advantage is like Lightning Web Component is also open source, so you can also run these components outside Salesforce platform. Like even you can run it on Heroku Cloud. You can deploy it on GitHub pages, and basically any you can any web server.
Right. So one thing, before we continue, just to help everyone to know, right? So those who are very, I would say, new to Salesforce or LWC, right? So what are the prerequisites, right? Like how you should come to this point, okay? So I would say Salesforce Lightning Web Component is, I would say, similar to React.js, okay, or Node.js, okay? So which means like anyone should know some basic ideas, or I would say advanced ideas of what is HTML, what is jQuery, what is JavaScript, okay? And after knowing all these things, right, then you should move to LWC. And of course, what is Salesforce, right? So those four things you should know. So that will be easier out for you, okay? Having said that, if you don't know React, you can directly start with LWC, right? Because LWC is like a, I would say, alternate to React, okay? React.js or Node.js, okay? But you should know the concept of, as I said, like the if-else statement, like the logic of programming. You should know the, logic. You should have the way for, you should know how to write some basic CSS and custom CSS and all, right? As you mentioned, you should know all these basic concepts, okay, of what DOM is, what W3 specs is, and all, and what are templates. Only then you will be able to understand all these things, okay? Again, we are trying to make it as simple as possible for everyone, so that you don't like we train you from scratch, right? But again, it will be helpful, like by next session, if you can come prepared with what is JavaScript. I think Rahul or Pratap can share some links of what all things you can study, from now until then, so it will be easier for you to grasp, what we're explaining, okay? But for now, as I mentioned again, this session we are assuming that most of the things already, at least in terms of what coding is and what at least JavaScript is, right? Or what Java is, or maybe .NET is or PHP is, and that's from there you can easily pick it from there. Or if you don't know that, and if you're just an admin, in that scenario also you have to start from scratch, okay?
Okay. So in these pictures, whatever the blue part is the proprietary code written by Salesforce, and whatever the logic required to run connect with Salesforce database and Salesforce APIs. And the pink part you are saying is the standard browser features. If you can see that the leftmost bar is 2014 web stack, where there were only few features available in natively in browser. And then after 2019 web stack, there many features were added to native browser features. And that's why, so like Salesforce wanted to take advantages of those pre-inbuilt browser features, instead of writing custom libraries for the UI development, like the Aura. And if you can see that the Lightning Web Component is Lightning Web Component fully supports and utilizes the modern web's standard and all the modern browser features, and which are supported like by widely browsers. Okay, what do you, Pratap?
Okay, thank you, Rahul, for the explaining why Lightning Web Component. So before we proceed exactly with the coding and some demo, I would like to explain about the some standard of the web components. So the web components basically composed of four building blocks, you can say. These are the four pillars that required in the web components. So this is again before we start the Lightning Web Component. So this is regarding the just web components. So the first is HTML template. So the HTML template is nothing but one chunk of HTML code. So you just need to include one template tag, and inside that template tag you can write some HTML code. and that this HTML template mostly used by the developers in the web component. But the main use, like whenever we render any HTML page which contains the HTML template, it will not render at first, like it does not show anything from that template. Later we need to write some JavaScript code, and we need to do some operations to show that on the page. So I would like to share my screen. I will show you the use of template tag. Rahul, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, so this is the simple HTML file, demo.html, and here I have created this template tag, and one line is there, just simple session introduction of LWC. So whenever I remove this script part, which we need later, and if I save this file, and if I'm trying to load this page, then we are not able to say anything, because at the first instance it will not show anything on the page using the template. So, and later we need to do some operations on that template by using JavaScript. And when we write this code, like document.query selector, and we can get the that template ID from using document.query selector, and we can currently we can do any operations here, like we can add some other div tag here, and we can render whatever the template data into that particular div tag. So this template currently I have taken as a small example, but these templates may contain very complex data, very bigger in a size, so that we can reuse these templates again and again whenever we want. So this is a part of like web component. So now I will save this and we can render. So it will show that here. So same template we can reuse everywhere. So main like use of the web components can you share your screen, Chitiz?
I'm sharing. Okay.
Yeah, right. So this is the first HTML templates, and later, no, can you go back to first
Yeah.
slide? Okay.
Yep.
So the second building block is nothing but import. So what happens when there are too many, like as I said, there may be some complex templates which contain a very big HTML tags and different like UI as per the customer's requirement. So that HTML file will get very complex. So it is not easy to read and like check the file. So in that case, we can have a different HTML files, and we can import those files. We can import those files in any HTML file. So the main file only contains some import statement. So that way we can use the import. uh, and there is also shadow DOM building block, which basically used. So let's again I will share my screen. So let's consider this is the one HTML file, and here I have written this HTML code. So if I have write one simple text, and if I return some CSS for this particular demo, like style, like this, or I return this style in here in the style tag, then what it happens, it will apply to all the contents in the this HTML file. So later, if I have created one custom element, which is the next building block, so custom element is nothing but we can create our own tag. So like I currently we use the some standard tag like body or like div head. So in the web component we can create our custom tab. So I will create one new custom component and name is as custom table. So this custom element I have created. So in the web component we can create our own custom element, and we can define what attributes it will take, what style and what different logic it should contain. So everything is different for this new custom element. So whenever I write some style on this p, like this is the paragraph attribute, paragraph tag, and have written like color should be red. So whenever I write a color, like uh, we can't write the logic here. We need to write the script, JavaScript, and we need to write the style and other things there. So whenever we apply this style, so this will also applicable to this custom element as well. So to get rid of this issue, we have the shadow DOM. So what shadow DOM actually does is like it will encapsulate whole style and whole structure of that particular custom element, and it will separate this custom element from whole the main DOM element. So this style will not applicable for this, and we can have a different, means the separate style for this component. So this is one of the points. Can you share again, Rahul?
Right. And meanwhile, you're showing this, Pratap and Rahul. I think some people are asking some questions, on the Zoom chat, right? Again, there are two ways. We will keep the last 10 minutes, for Q&A, right? But
Yes.
meanwhile, if we see any relevant question, we can answer it. But I would say we still have like the last 10 minutes just for Q&A. Okay.
Okay, no problem. So this is the fourth point, custom elements, which I just described like custom
Go
table,
ahead.
so that we
Sorry.
can make our own elements, and using Shadow DOM, we can have a different structure and different styles from the main DOM element. So it will separate from the base DOM element. So these are the four basic building blocks of the web components. Uh, can you take next one? Okay, so now how Lightning Web Component and Aura component like operate in between, like interoperability between the Aura components and Lightning Web component. So we can embed the Lightning Web component inside the Aura component, as we can see here in the this diagram. This is the Aura component, and inside Aura component we have one child Aura component and one Lightning Web component. But in the Lightning Web component on the right side, you can see here, this is the Lightning Web component. It only contains Lightning Web component. It does not support the Aura component inside the Lightning Web component. So basically, uh, we uh, we can have the LWC inside Aura component, but not vice versa. And the communication between the components happens using the events and the APIs. So let's consider like we want to pass some data from this Aura component to this child Lightning Web component. Then we can have the APIs, like we can declare one API attribute. We can learn these things later in the next sessions, like what are the decorators like API track. So we can have one API decorator. So we can declare that property there in the Lightning Web component. And we can pass the value from the Aura component to Lightning Web component during using that attribute. And also we can use the events, custom events, so that we just need to dispatch the event from Lightning Web component. Uh, Also, there are some points, some functionalities which are not supported by the Lightning Web component right now. Some are the functionalities like a quick action we can take. Other is like is URL addressable. These 2-3 points are there in the next slide. I will explain there. So yeah, Rahul.
Okay. So thank you, Pratap, for good explanation about the custom templates and Shadow DOM. And then we'll move over to the next slide. Okay. So about the modern JS support in Lightning Web Component. So as we will see one sample Lightning Web Component. So as you might know that we can write classes and object-oriented programming in modern JavaScript, although it is not really like object-oriented, but whatever we write, so like it is transpiled into the vanilla JavaScript. But like we can write classes, we can inherit the classes, and we can have different properties and member functions in the class. And then we have import export functionality. Like like we can have multiple JavaScript controller to one Lightning Web Component. So we can reuse the JavaScript file or HTML file between multiple components. Then JavaScript promises. So if you don't know promises, so like promises is the uh, asynchronous way of handling the like long running task in JavaScript. So we'll see this in detail when we go ahead in this course. Then we also have async await. So async await is built on top of promises, and which is like advanced version of promises. And there are some scenarios where we use promises and where sometimes we use async await. Then we have arrow functions as like JavaScript. Like there are like if you write something inside the function, it is not accessible outside that function. So like we what we call it is that function scope. To overcome this limitation, like we have this arrow functions. We'll say this later. Then like we can use the new keywords in JavaScript like let and constant. So basically let creates a block scope variable. Okay, like if you have some if block and you want to declare one variable which will be used only in that if block, then we will use this a let. And const is, as the name suggests, is it's the block scope variable, which block scope variable, uh, which we cannot change. Okay, and then we also have enhanced object literals. Like there are advanced features where we can how we can declare the objects, and we can like instead of writing the JSON format, uh, how we can dynamically create objects. And then there is another like spare operator. We'll see everything of this. This is just an overview. So then there is a spare operator which is used to declone the JavaScript objects, and then template string, and there are many other features, but these are the features we will be using most in Lightning Web Component development. And then developer tools for Lightning Web Component. As like first one is you need a Salesforce CLI. We'll share you all the links if you don't have. Then we need to have JDK installed on your machine, and also you need to make sure that the Java home and path variables are set correctly. JDK is required for Salesforce CLI and to be able to run the VS Code. And then VS Code in Visual Studio Code, which is the editor for Salesforce development. And then there are some extensions that we need to install in VS Code. And then there is Lightning Web Component Playground, where we can quickly write and see Lightning Web Component, but I think this is going to be retired. So don't consider this one. Okay, then I'll show you some my favorite third-party VS Code extensions which we use for development, like in Salesforce development. Pratap. Hello.
Yes, Rob. So this is the beginning. Rahul also is going to show the demo. So inside that we can see the contents of the component bundle. I would also like to share my screen so that I can show these files when we create.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you show a screen. There is one question that what is Salesforce CLI? So CLI is command line interpreter, which is used to retrieve and deploy Salesforce component. If you are familiar with Ant migration tool, then CLI is similar to that. So it is a command line interpreter where we can write commands to fetch code from Salesforce and to deploy code to Salesforce.
Yeah, right. So I will share my screen. So this is the first component I have created. demo LWC. So when also I can create new ones so that everyone can see it. So there are some commands you can learn that. We also send you the links for that. So from here we can select create new lightning web component. So I will give the name and just click enter. So it will create this lightning web component, and it will also create these three files we can see here. And in the left side you can see the demo LWC component. So one folder is get created, and inside that lightning web component folder, these are the three files will get automatically created. So the demo LWC comp.html, this is the file where we are going to write all the HTML tags and that UI things here inside this file. So whatever the logic we need to manipulate, like writing some complex logic, getting the data from backend, communicate with the backend, extend and import the things from other components, then this logic will come under this JS file. This is the second one. And the third file, this is nothing but the meta files. So this file actually defines the metadata properties for that component. So metadata properties means when we create any component in the lightning web component, so it is not available for the record page or the in the community builder or for the uh, quick lightning tab. So we need to write some metadata tags here, so that I will show that to you. So currently basic, by default this file contains only these two tags, like is exposed and API version. So whenever we want to any component to support in the and use like make it available to the app builder or the community builder, then we need to write these tags. So this is the same meta.xml file you can see here, and inside that we need to write these. This is the target. So the target actually defines like for which pages like it available. So I have written lightning record page, lightning app page, lightning home page. So whenever I want to available this component for these pages in the backend, whenever admin want to add this component in the any record page or the app, any lightning app, then we need to like write these tags here inside these targets. So, and again, if we want to make this component available for the community, then we need to add these tags. For the tabs, there is a list of whole these things, so we can get this from Salesforce documentation. And also there are some things like whenever we configure, whenever we put any lightning web component on the app builder on the that home page, so sometimes we need to admin wants to add some parameters there, so that those things also we can do it from here, like target config is the tag, and we can define the property. So whatever the data type you want, and we can give the name to the property. So these fields are available for the admin to enter the values at the time of like configuring this component. And also if you want, like this is the target config, this is the record page, and you want this page to be available only for these objects. Okay, so at that time we can write the object names as well. So this component will available only for these record pages, not the others. And if you want this target config to be available for the home page and all the lightning app page, this is for the record page, this is for the application level page, and this property for the community. So I have just added all these things in one file. So based on your requirement, you can have only that value. If you want your component for only home page, then just add this tag. So I'm just explaining like these are the different tags we can use to make this component available for the particular user requirement. Okay, and again here we have three components. So sometimes user may want like add the some CSS style for their uh, this is the p tag, and I want to add some CSS. So we can have a separate file for the CSS styling as well. So from here we can select the name of the same name of that LWC component, and we can go to here and just create new file, the same name dot CSS. So whatever the CSS we are adding in this file with the like we can add the CSS here, it will applicable for this component. So we can have the CSS file as well, HTML, JS, and metadata file. And one more thing, like there are some base components in the Salesforce. So if we want to override the CSS for those components, then we can't do that thing from this CSS file. So for that, we need to store those CSS in the static resource, and we need to import into the JS file. We can explain these things later. These are the some advanced things. So we can discuss these things later. So yes, Rahul, can you just show that?
Okay, so we have one very interesting question here by Reb. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. So his question is why we cannot use Aura components inside
Lightning Web Component.
Yeah, there are several reasons. So first one is Lightning Aura component is not the truly component based framework. And another reason is, as we discuss about the shadow DOM. So whenever you will write multiple components, as there is no shadow DOM, so the CSS might get overwritten, and it can have adverse effect on the UI. So if we are using multiple components. And then there is another, like it is not based on the modern web development standards. And yeah, and there are several other reasons, but these are the three main reasons. Okay. Then, okay.
Can you check other questions around?
Yeah, I have answered few questions. So
can we use CSS file?
Yeah, steps to, yeah, this will take the end and
yeah, I think, yeah, this one, have you answered that CSS in the other component? We can make one component with the only CSS file, and yeah,
we are going to see.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
just share your screen so that we can see the slide.
Okay, so yeah, here is a slide. So this is the demo time. So like I have developed one small Lightning Web component, and which basically displays contact information. And so let's see the code that we have. Okay, so as you can see that this is my custom Lightning Web component, which have so the main file is the JS file. Then we have HTML file where we have written all the HTML tags. Then we have CSS file. One advantage over Aura component CSS is that you don't need to write this and dot. So like sometimes you need to add space between this and dot. Sometimes you don't need to add a space between this and dot. All these things are not here. So you just simply write the plain CSS.
Rahul, okay. Can you just zoom in the screen? Someone have the question, like they are not able to see. Just zoom in.
Okay, why? Okay. Can you see screen? Hello?
Yeah, those who are seeing it small, first of all, you need to log in from your laptop, right, or computer. And secondly, you can actually you can increase the size of, like you can reduce the size of the camera. So screen increases. And Rahul, what Pratap is saying is, can you zoom in your desktop as well? So it looks bigger, like can you increase the font of it?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so control.
Maybe try doing.
Okay, is it better now?
I think so, and I think you can select that in the view. I think there is another option for full screen. Go back there, the same way. No, the previous one,
Okay,
when
okay,
we
okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah. In the view, maybe.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Full screen is
full
there.
screen. Yeah,
Okay,
try that. Yeah. Okay, I think now it's bigger. Yeah.
okay, and I'll also increase the zoom a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, zoom in.
okay, is it better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, so we have here four main files in HTML in the web component. So first one we'll see is the JavaScript file. As we saw in the previous slide, how can I hide this? Okay, so like there are classes and imports, and we can extend the classes. So and we have decorators. So I'll explain a little bit about this file. So like here we have imports. So like basically this is the main in pre-built framework API for Lightning Web Components, where we import different parameters like Lightning element, which is the base component for Lightning Web Components, which is very similar to object class in Java. Like all the other objects are extended by the object class. Then we have API and wire tag. We'll see that later in the next sessions. Then we have get record and get field value. So these are the APIs to get data from get record from Salesforce database, and this field we use to get value of the field. Okay. Then we have imported this object configuration. So like here we are importing the configuration of first name field of the contact. Then we have the last name, then email, and also we can use related. We can query the related field. Like here we are querying the contact's parent, which is account, and we are querying the parent account name here. And here is the class. So whatever the properties that we are going to use in HTML template will be defined here. And so like we can create public properties and private properties, which again we will see this in the next session. But here we have this API of record ID. So whenever we say @API, it means that this particular attribute can be set by the parent component. Okay, so in this case this will be the app builder itself. Okay, then we have this @wire get record. As we saw about the promises, so the wire actually uses the JavaScript promise. So what promise does is basically it requests for the resource and doesn't wait until the resource is loaded. So it continues other jobs. Okay, and whenever the resource is loaded, then again it invokes the callback function. Okay, so whenever we wire, so basically whatever the record ID we are passing it to the record ID, and we are passing what field we need to retrieve, and then we are storing that into the contact, this contact object. And then these are the function, like these are the same, these are similar to properties, like where we have one-way binding. We can use this functionality in these properties inside the HTML template. So basically, we are fetching the field values from each of the field. Like as I said, that we are using get field value method to get the data from this contact object. Okay, then we'll go to the HTML part of this. So the base tag for HTML file is template tag. As Pratap explained that whatever code inside template tag does not render automatically. We need to explicitly render that using JavaScript. But in Lightning Web Component, you don't have to do that. The component engine will automatically do that. You don't have to do any type of DOM manipulation in a Lightning Web Component. So here we have this Lightning card. This is the pre-built Salesforce component, which is okay, which is this component. So it is like a tile, similar to tile, and then we have some SLDS CSS, and here we are using the uh, JavaScript properties from this class. Okay, so we have defined first name, then we are using the first name here, and remember the syntax is like two curly braces, and inside that you need to write property name. Okay, this is not similar to Aura, Aura or Visual Force. Like Aura, in Aura we have like b dot and the property name, and in Visual Force we just write the name, and we have the additional exclamation mark. Okay, so basically what we are displaying here is we are inside the card, we are displaying first name, last name, email, and account name of the contact. Okay, then we have the CSS file. Just for demo purpose, I have added this class so that whatever the data of contact will have bold text. So I have used that class here. It is so simple, like you define class in CSS file and you just use that. Like we have this bold text and you can just use that in the HTML file. Okay, and then we have this template. If false, it is like a condition. Like if there is a data, then we will show this section. If there is no data, then we will show this section. Okay, and about the metadata file. So like as I want to use this page, this component on record page, app page, and home page. So I have mentioned these three targets here, and in order to use this component in the app builder and other experiences, I need to set it exposed to true. Okay, then we'll go to the component itself and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the standard contact record page, and this is the component that we saw added here. So let's compare by the code. So first we have title, which is contact info, and we have icon name. So basically we are displaying this contact info and contact icon. Okay, and then inside the tag, inside the, let me zoom in a little bit. So okay, so this component here, the right side. Okay, then we have we have this data, this component on the standard record page. The data will be automatically loaded using the record API. Okay, we are displaying the first name of the contact, like here. Then we have last name, then email, and then we are displaying the parent account name. Okay, so yeah, this is how we write components. Like we'll see in detail like how to use the standard components, how to iterate on list, how to get data from HTML to JavaScript and vice versa. As we see here, whatever data is there in the property will be automatically rendered on the HTML. Unlike Aura component and Visual Force pages, the web component is not two-way binding. Okay, so whatever changes we make in JavaScript will be automatically reflected on the UI part, but whatever the changes we make in the UI part will not be automatically reflected in the JavaScript controller. So for that, we need to write handlers, like event handler, like the standard on-change handler, let's say for input. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. And then let's go to, let's see if we have any questions. Okay, lots of questions. Okay. Okay, one more thing. We'll see how we can, we'll go to edit page and we can see like how we can use this component here. Okay, so this is the app builder. And so if I search here, contact, so this is the component I have, and here I am using it. Okay, if I add it once again, you can see this. Okay.
Right. So this component is not available at the first time when we create the component.
Yeah.
So make it available here. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we don't define is exposed to true and the targets, then the component will not be available here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in the metadata meta file, we need to make.
Okay. So yeah, let's go to questions. Okay, lots of questions. On which technology we need to write API in SF? So basically, so like to get data from Salesforce, we have two options. Like as we see here, we are using the standard APIs like developed in the Lightning Web Component framework. Like we can import and we can just call it as JavaScript functions. Okay, and there is another, like we need to like we can write Apex code. So if you don't know, like the Apex is a proprietary code which is very similar to Java. So like we write Apex code to integrate with database and Salesforce internal like Salesforce platform. So there are some cases where all the standard APIs defined in Lightning Web Component framework are not sufficient. So in that case, we write Apex code and then we import that and we call that from the Lightning Web Component to get data and to save data. Okay, but the basic CRUD operation, like to create record, to get record, to update record, we have function for everything. Like the get record, we have update record, we have create record, where we can write simple CRUD operations simply using the importing and using JavaScript code. Okay, then can I override standard or custom button in using LWC? No, as of now, this is not supported. Like we cannot use Lightning Web Component as actions, but there is a workaround. Like as like we can use Lightning Web Component inside Aura. So what you can do, if you have already built a Lightning Web Component, you can put that inside Aura, and you can use that Aura component as a standard button or action in Lightning experience. Okay, and hope in future class will discuss about the alternative for quick action override. Yeah, I guess that I already covered this. So you can, there is a workaround. You can wrap that component inside Aura component, and yeah, so this is that way you can use the LWC as a quick action, or like there are other features like URL addressable. Okay, can we perform DML operations on multiple records? So DML operations using the Lightning API, like the API built inside the Lightning Web Component framework, like get record, let's say we have update record. Okay, so using update record, we can only update one record at a time, or we can create one record at a time. We cannot create or update multiple records at a time. But what we can do is we can select up to certain level, you can use this as a list of promises that I will show in next. Like you can have multiple record, you can create a list of promises, and you can call promise.all. So basically you can call this method multiple times. And another option is you can simply call the Apex using Apex using Apex from JavaScript controller of the Lightning Web Component. Okay, can we pass values from app builder to LWC? Yes, definitely we can pass. So for that we need to define for that, we need to define targets and the target attributes here, like very similar to design attributes in the Lightning Aura components. So like you can define like what type of attribute is and what are the available options, and whenever like whenever you are using that component inside app builder or experience builder, you can set values to those attributes. Okay, then do we have any concept of Lightning data service in LWC? Does LWC manage FLS like? Yes, as we see here, this is UI record API uses the Lightning data service, and it functions very similar to Lightning data service in Aura. Like whenever the record is updated, automatically the UI get refreshed, and also
Yeah,
it supports the FLS, and so that your data doesn't accidentally get accessible by like unintended users. Okay, yeah, let's see what. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay, please explain the line number 1 to 6 in JavaScript.
Rahul, while you're covering everything, I do want to respect everyone's time, right? We are on the top of the hour. So I'm sure there are hundreds of questions which Rahul and Pratap will answer. But what I also want to mention is like we have the series, which will happen for next 9 more sessions, right? So there is a lot of things to cover. There are a lot of questions to be answered, right? Those who want, like those you don't have any questions, they can drop, and like we will be uploading the recording on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, okay, everywhere, so you can follow that. And I've already shared the link. I'm again going to share the link of our Tequila Academy page as well as LinkedIn page and Facebook page, so you can follow us, right? And again, just repeat, like these sessions are completely free of cost, right? So if you can, I think the only thing what we need from you, if possible, again, we are not just requesting, is if you can give us some good rating on Google. I've sent the link above on the chat, so that will be very helpful, for the long run. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, please continue now.
Yeah, so I think like we can stay on like before for a few questions, but before that I'll just go ahead for the next slides. Okay, then so this like this is a list like where Lightning Web Component is supported. Like we can use it in App Builder, we can use it in Lightning Tab, Flows, Community, and Experience Builder. Then we can use it in Lightning Beta and all type of packages like managed package, unmanaged package, um, Salesforce packages version 2 and version 1. Then we can use this also in Salesforce mobile app. There are few things are not supported, like as we already covered, custom and standard action overrides, then URL addressable tabs, then Salesforce console API and mobile SDK. Okay, so there is a like around 75 pre-built component in Lightning Web Component framework, which you can reuse, like which are very similar to the Aura components, Aura based components. Okay, and one advantage over Aura is we can extend the functionality of base component. Also, we can see how the base component are developed, and the base components source code is already public and available on GitHub. If you want to extend function, let's say we saw the Lightning tab. Let's say if you want to extend the functionality of Lightning tab, you can just use the extend functionality, or you can you can develop completely your own using the source code. Okay, so in next session we'll see like what are the decorators and component properties, then how the reactivity work, like how the component is rendered, then life cycle of the Lightning Web Component, then Lightning Data Service, then events, and some live code examples. Okay, so I have some resources, so you can go there. I'll share the link for slide, and questions I guess we already covered. And for upcoming updates, you can actually follow Okay. So for upcoming updates, you can follow Tequila Academy pages. So that whenever there is any update, you can stay updated. I'll share those links in the chat. So if you want, you can join the group, or you can um, follow the Facebook page. Okay. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess we are, yeah. So if so, like there are a few questions. If if you guys want to stay, like I'm going to answer some questions. Okay. So like if you don't have any doubts, you can drop off, because so like like what are the points we had, we already covered. And thank you for your time, and I hope you like the session, and we will also please join the upcoming sessions. And yeah, let us know the feedback. How was the session? Like, what did you like? What you didn't like? So next time um, we can improve ourselves, and we can so like if there is any request for any particular topic, we can think of that. So adding that topic, and yeah, that's it.
Right. And yeah, thank you so much, Rahul and Pratap, for the session. And one thing I would like to add is, like as I told that in the starting of the session, but as Tequila, like, we are really short of resources and we are looking for good developers. And that's the whole reason of, arranging these sessions where we can prepare the people for Lightning and as a developer, and even we can hire them, right? So as I mentioned, like this is a series of 10 sessions, and once you are completing these 10 sessions, there will be like a live project which you'll be working on. And once you complete all those things, you will be getting some vouchers for the certifications. You will be getting some swags from Tequila. And for the people who are really hardworking and all, we'll be also offering you jobs, because we are short of resources. We are looking for at least 35 developers who are from a previous background and at least 50 freshers. Okay. So there might be the people who want to switch to Salesforce, who want to learn Lightning and all. We have a lot of job openings as well on Tequila. And you can visit our website, Tequila Global Services, tequilaservices.com, and you can see the current openings and all. All right. All right. I think thank you so much, guys. And we have a WhatsApp group, right? We already shared the link above, so you can join that if you have any other questions. Rahul, Pratap, myself, Amrut, we can answer those. And we'll love to keep this interactive. We want it to provide value to everyone. Okay. So, uh, I think Rohit wants to talk.
So can we add him?
Yeah, right. You can speak now.
Hey, hi Rahul. Thank you, Chitiz, for unmuting.
Hey, hi, Rohit.
Hi Rahul, and thank you so much for this knowledgeable session, Rahul. Yeah. So Rahul, I just wanted to have one doubt. Do you have any document which I can use to install all the softwares and I can be ready for next session?
Yes, I have the document. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll share that those links. I have those handy here. Okay, so like if you want to know what are uh, the standard web components, then you can follow this link. Then there is a link for installing. No, how can I copy the links? Okay. Okay. Share all the links. Okay. So you can install the VS Code extension from here. Then this is the base component recipe. Then this is the function. This is the link to set up.
Rahul, what you can also do is you can also upload this on SlideShare. So
Yeah.
we can share the link of SlideShare in WhatsApp group. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, that will work. Yeah.
Yeah. Already I have shared some links on the chat. You can just copy those. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Rahul, one more thing for next session, like will we be creating a code that, for example, okay.
Yeah, we are going to write some code. Like So what we are going to do is we'll discuss one feature of web component, and then we'll develop some component based on that. So at the end, we'll be ready with one end-to-end small end-to-end project built out of Lightning Web Component.
Okay, thanks, Rahul. Thanks, Chitiz.
Okay. So.
All right. So thank you so much, guys. Again, if any questions are left and all, please join the WhatsApp group. Please ask there. And yeah, we're happy to talk.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And please don't forget to give reviews, if possible. Thank you.